In this video, we're going to check out one of my favorite apps for photography, coming right up. What's up everybody? Phil with Bull City Pictures. Today with an app review. We're looking at an app called PlanIt. It's available on Android and iOS. What does it do? Well, it helps you plan an upcoming photography trip. So the idea is that you have ephemeris information. You can look at sunrise, sunset, their utilities. For time lapses, there's a whole slew of features that this app has. Too deep really to get into in one video. So I'm just going to give you an overview. And basically what you'd use this for is, let's say that you're in North Carolina and you want to go travel somewhere and get some landscape photography. Let's say you want to go to Tunnel View to look at Half Dome. You can type in where you'd like to go and it will take you there and put a marker there. On the right hand side here you have a little lever that will allow you to zoom in. And so this takes you to a spot, Tunnel View, and then there's a parking lot here and you can actually set your camera location so that this will tell the program where your camera is. So I want to basically use my camera here at the base of this parking lot, and you can see from this, well, you probably can't tell, but those are other photographers there. And what you can do then is actually look at what you'd like to see. So if I want to see, let's say, Half Dome here, type that in, search it, and it's going to take me to Half Dome. And you can see that this is a point of interest in Google Maps, and we can zoom out here. We can see that that's Half Dome. And what you can do from there is, if you want to set that to be your scene location, you can click on that and you'll have your scene location. And then you can zoom out to see where the camera was. And now you kind of have the camera angle and also the spot that you want to photograph. And from here you can do a number of different things. One of the coolest things is, let's say that you want to go and figure out maybe when is going to be a good sunset picture. So you can see that you have your camera placed here. This is what you're looking at. You're looking at Half Dome. And we can go into a different mode, and there are a number of different modes here. This one is called distance mode. So if you go into distance mode, you can see a line's drawn directly from where you are with the camera to where you want to photograph, and it will give you some information about how far the distance is, also elevation information. So you can see that this line now, once I tapped the elevation, turned green, and that green lets you know that you have a clear path from here, where the camera is, all the way over to Half Dome to see basically clearly with no obstructions. If you want to see what's actually in the way of the contour of the mountains and the hills, you can click on this VR Viewfinder, and that will give you a view basically of what you can see from that location through this VR perspective. So if we go back into distance mode, we can see that this is Half Dome, and this is where we have our point of interest set. So I can see that there's kind of this representation of the mountainside here, and we can go back in and look at any of the other information that we want to, and look at a number of different views, including the street view. The street view is where I set my camera angle, and you can see now that from that spot, or from the street near that spot, these are the features that you'll be able to see. So it does incorporate Google Street View. And again, we can see this line here. If I click on this elevation gain at this point, it brings up kind of a schematic, if you will. And you can see that there's almost something in the way here, but because of where the camera is and where your point of interest is, there's nothing in the way. But if, let's just say we move this down and we wanted to get, let's say, this section. Once we do that, if we click on elevation again to tap to update, you can see now that there's red in the way. That means that somehow your view is obstructed. So you can click here again and see what's happening. Basically, you've got that little hill that's in your way. This is really good to give you an indication of line of sight and allow you to be able to see right away if you can get a clear view or not. And at any time when you have your path set, if you click here, it brings you back into zoom to fit mode basically. So now I can take this and bring it back to half dome. So let's say that I wanted to go back into this VR view and I wanted to look at when we're going to have a full moon. There are a number of different modes here. Again, you can see that this is telling you when twilight's going to be. There's also golden and blue hour information. You can see the time that it starts and the time that it ends, and it gives you that information. You can see here on the map, there's an indication of those hours and where the sun is at any particular time. Right now we have the time set to 12:06. You can change the time, and that will allow you to actually see, as you can see, the sun and the moon moving where the celestial objects are in relation to your camera. And you can see now that at this particular time, it's going to be twilight, and you can zoom in or out at the bottom here, basically starting with the minutes. So you can scroll through with your minutes and see that it moves very, very slowly. And if you tap over here, you can move all the way out to year, and then you can zoom into month and then day. So if we wanted to look, let's say we wanted to look at a day where there was a full moon here, we'll go ahead and click on this particular date, and you can see that the time of that full moon. If you want to see how that is going to look through your viewfinder, you can go back into viewfinder mode here. So if you wanted to find out information about, let's say, when we're going to have a full moon, you can click on this section right here, tap on this section right here, and choose the event that we're looking for. Let's say we want to look for a full moon, or we want to look for moonrise because we've gone to a day where we know the moon should be full. You can use this little hand icon to indicate where you want the app to look for the moon to be in this particular view. Let's say you wanted to get the moon over half dome. You can see that there are 112 results here returned. And if you tap on one of those, you can see more information that will allow you to filter it. So if you want to look during the golden hour and see when the moon is full, you can see that there are a number of different choices here. If you just tap on one of those choices, it will bring you back to that view, and you can see now that we have the moon next to half dome. So it might not be exactly in the spot that you want to see, and this gives you the time of day. So at 5:15, if you take this time and just move it, you can see that the moon's moving. So if you wanted to get a shot where it was, just to the left of that, you can look at that date and time here, and you can see that the moon would be here. And this is, again, a great way for you to visualize your shots. There's a lot more that this can do. This is just kind of a really quick overview, but I just want to show you a couple of things where you can do different types of photography or different types of events that you're looking for. So if you pull down anywhere, you can see the different features that it has. And I won't read through all of these, but you can see there are a bunch of different things that you can look at, including celestial events and night photography, oceanography, but it also does have a time-lapse feature where you can set the interval between shots. Let's say you want to do 5 seconds, the time of the time-lapse or the clip length that you want, let's say 12 seconds, and your frames per second, and it will give you the information about how many frames it's going to take, how long it's going to take. And if you go back to your regular view, you'll actually see that represented here. So you can see it's basically from 5:28. If you start it, it's going to take 288 shots, and it will finish at 5:52. And you'll be able to see that. So there's a lot of different things that you can do here. And that, I think the time lapse is one of the cool things. You can also set this to none if you just want to see the map and see an overview. But and you can pull down at any time to bring back that ephemeris information. So those are just some of the things that this app can do. It's an extensive application available for Android and for iOS. It's $5.99 in the App Store, I believe in both app stores. I bought it a year or so ago, and I use it so much. Again, it does, the photographer's ephemeris is one that a lot of people will buy, and I believe that app is around the same price, but this will do so much more than just give you ephemeris information. It will give you just a ton of different information. It also allows you to save your plan. So if this is the plan that you want, you've marked you want to do half dome, and you've gotten all your information here, you can save your plan and load that up at another point. So you can save any number of plans and just go through, do your scouting, do your planning, set all the locations, set all the markers, points of interest that you're interested in photography or photographing, and then save that plan, and you can load those plans up at any time. This is Phil with Bowl City Pictures. Hope you enjoyed this app overview. I'll probably do more of these in the future. Let me know in the comments below. Let's start a conversation if you like this or not, and if so, maybe we'll do more of these. Thanks so much for taking the time to view this. If you haven't subscribed already or you're new here, please consider subscribing. If you do subscribe, please click on that bell icon, and that will allow you to be notified whenever we go live or upload a new video. Thanks so much for your time, and we'll see you again in the next video.